All hell is about to break loose. So this morning a pack of wild dogs has been found, and I believe they had caught and killed something, eaten it, and now they're all just milling about. I believe another dog was away from them feeding on the last remains of a carcass. It must have caught something by itself and was just feeding there. That lone wild dog has now finished feeding and left a part of the carcass there, and it's heading straight towards where the other wild dogs are. But I'm pretty sure they're all going to head back towards where that carcass was. There was about just under half of an impala left there, so at least these wild dogs will hopefully get a good feed this morning. It's going to be exciting to see when they get back there, because we can see some vultures dropping down and probably feeding on the carcass, so they're going to go charging in there to try and chase away the vultures. And I'm pretty sure those vultures will at some point bring in some hyenas, so the interaction between wild dogs and hyenas is always pretty epic to see. Right, so now they're all busy feeding. A couple of the wild dogs are busy chasing off some of the vultures and having a whale of a time there. All of their bellies look relatively full, so they're not desperate for a feed here. But at least they're going to all end up at the end of this morning with pretty well filled bellies. Right, so we're going to leave these wild dogs here because some of them have come across to what looks like a mud wallow, probably for a little drink or a chance to try and cool down. So hopefully we get a nice shot of them frolicking around in the water. So while they were busy frolicking around in that mud water, we saw a whole bunch of vultures streaming across, being followed very closely by a couple of hyenas. So these wild dogs then saw the hyenas and came charging in to drive the hyenas away, and the majority of the pack then set off chasing the two hyenas into the distance, and there were a number of wild dogs that stayed behind here, and a last third hyena came running in. It looks as though they're beginning to settle now, and I'm sure they're just going to seek out some shade because it's probably going to get quite warm today, and then before you know it they'll set off on another mission this evening. But at least all their bellies are full. At least it looks as though they've got a decent feed out of this morning, and they're going to be pretty happy. So it's always great having wild dogs on the property. So after spending time with a separate pack to the one that we saw this morning, they got up, they trotted up onto the airstrip, and we had some awesome views of them cruising along there. A few of their dogs lifted their nose to the wind, and they seem to have just picked up the scent of the other pack of wild dogs from this morning, and they're heading straight in that direction. All hell is about to break loose.
Okay, what's your position?
So the dogs took off running in 101 different directions, and just the vocalizations that they were all giving off was intense. It sounded like it was pretty much surround sound around us. You could see that they were all just trying to work out what on earth is just going on. So we tried to stick with some of them. We looped up ahead. I've got at least 4 of these animals mobile, and then eventually some of the dogs just all took off and left the area. Megan's just called in on the radio now that some dogs, don't know which pack they were, are back where the initial altercation took place. So we're going to try and get across there, see if we see anything. But when we stopped just now to try and find them or try and listen out, we could hear who calling, which is a wild dog's contact call, as they try and reunite, coming from all different directions. So at least one of the pack has bombshelled in all different directions. Another pack of at least 9 is back with Megan. So let's get across there and try and piece it all together. It appears that the pack that Megan has is the same one that we saw this morning, the pack of 12. So I can see one of the dogs has got a collar on it, and I didn't see any collars on the pack that we were initially following across the airstrip. So in the pandemonium, they would have all bombshelled. These ones would have come back to where they'd spent the day, because this is where we left them this morning. So it's getting pretty dark now. We're going to leave these wild dogs, but I hope you've enjoyed this virtual safari. It's been a pretty hectic afternoon, but thanks for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you all again next week.